Hello everyone, we're back again for another live 5:30 weeknights. We'll jump on, and Monday is always going to be a nutrition Q&A. The live will start at 5:35. I'll start going through and answering your questions, but in the meantime, as always, I need to share this feed to all of our pages. If you're on, jump on, say hello. How's your day? How's your weekend? I'd love to know. If you can't tell, I actually shaved my head today myself with a razor. Pretty good job if you ask me. The bathroom is a mess though, so that's no good. Okay, so there's 3 people on. Who's on? Say hello. Okay, so we're going to start by sharing it to all of our groups. We're going to go to, as always guys, won't be long. It's very important. This must go out to the millions and millions. Aileen, how are you? Are you interested to know about your macronutrients and if they matter? Okay, 4 people on. Who else is on? Say hello. 6 people on. Don't be shy. This question is absolutely crucial for anyone who's looking to lose body fat or build muscle. It really is probably the best question I've had so far. And I'm really excited to answer it and help you guys get a result. Okay, so it's in all of our pages. Now I'm sharing it into our groups. It won't be long. Brody, how are you? How's your day? How's your shoulder feeling after physio? I hope it's all right. Okay, so pages. 10 people on. So guys, 5:35, we're going to start the Q&A about do macronutrients matter? Quick answer, yes they do. They matter a lot. And they're quite misunderstood, so I'm happy to clear this up for you. However, it is quite a complex issue, so if you do have any questions after, make sure you definitely message me. I'd love to see what you, I'd love to help you out. That's my job. Okay. There's 12 people on. Darby, you always have great nutrition questions. This live is going to be fantastic for you. I'm glad you're on watching. How's your day? Okay, so I believe that's all of our pages now. Okay. I'm also going to go live on Instagram. So we're good to go for Facebook. I'm setting up Instagram now. That's my dogs barking in the background. They're very annoying, but I do love them. Okay. Go live here on Instagram on my iPad. Okay, so we are live on Facebook and we are now live on Instagram also. Steve, Nav, how are you? So guys, only 1-2 more minutes and we'll get stuck in. So the question I had from Kate Riley was, do macronutrients matter? Should I track them? What is the deal with macronutrients? And are they important? If you have any questions about anything, ask them now, and I'll get to them as I talk about macros. I'm going to close the door because the dogs are absolutely going off. Hey, Kaz. Okay, so here we are. We're back. 16 people on. I did get a haircut, Brody. I shaved my head myself. I walked in the bathroom probably 5 or 6 times and I thought today's the day. And look at it. I think I might actually be receding though, which really upset me. So I'm not sure how my mood is going to be on this live tonight. All right. So the question from Kate was, do macronutrients matter? Should we track them? And if so, how do we do it? Okay. So first things first, we need to discuss. Thanks, Cheyenne. Did it myself. Glad you're on. First thing we need to discuss is, hey Jess, got people jumping on everywhere here. First we need to discuss is what are macronutrients? Okay, so macronutrients are 3 different food groups. Carbohydrates is 1 macronutrient, protein is 1 macronutrient, and fat is 1 macronutrient. Okay, there is a very, very, very popular diet called IIFYM, which stands for if it fits your macros. Now, short answer, can you lose weight on if it fits your macros? Absolutely. Do I think it's good? I think it's really good, to be honest. Okay, but what your macros actually make up is your macros combined equal a certain number of calories. So the three macronutrients: carbohydrates, fat, and protein. So in 1 gram of carbohydrate, there is 4 calories. In 1 gram of protein, there is 4 calories. Hey Diana, you love nutrition, perfect live. Hey Chelsea, in 1 gram of fat, there is 9 calories. So again, 1 gram of carbohydrate, 4 calories. 1 gram of protein, 4 calories. 1 gram of fat is 9 calories. Now, why this is important is no matter how many macros you have of protein, carbs, or fats, the order they're in, when you eat them, how often you eat them, if those macros add up to a calorie number that is too high, you will not lose body fat. So for example, my example is I eat 3,000 calories a day, which means I'd have 200 grams of protein, which equals 800 calories. I'd have 100 grams of fat, which is 900 calories. And I would have 325 grams of carbohydrates, which is 1,300 calories. Combined, they equal 3,000 calories. Now, 3,000 calories is what is called my maintenance. So at 3,000 calories, I don't put on weight, nor do I lose weight. Okay, so how do I lose weight? 2 ways. You could reduce your calories, very simple. But if we're tracking macros and doing it if it fits your macros, what I could do is eliminate 50 grams of carbohydrates, which then equals 200 calories. 1 gram, 4 calories, 50, 200, which means my calorie intake would now be 2,800, which means I would be in a calorie deficit of 200 calories. Hey Braden, how are you, man? 200 calories, which means that I should lose some body fat if I'm tracking correctly. So when you're counting your macros, all those macros add up to your calories. So I'll give an example. So Diana is on right now. Diana should be eating around 2,000 calories. She's quite active. Okay. Now, how Diana breaks down those 2,000 calories is Diana's preference. However, when you are determining how many calories you should eat and how many macros you should eat, there are certain rules that we should all should abide. Let's call them guidelines. Okay, so with protein, I've mentioned this in every single live so far, you should have at least 1.5 grams of protein per kilo of body weight. Okay, so for example, if I'm 100 kilos, I should have at least 150 grams of protein. Now, whether I'm trying to put on weight or lose weight, that's going to help me build muscle, or it's also going to help me maintain muscle while I lose body fat. So I should have 1.5 grams of protein per kilo of body weight. Okay. With fat, we should have 0.7 grams of fat per kilo of body weight. The reason why fat's really important is it helps regulate our hormones. So you had a really, really, really low fat diet that can affect your cortisol, your testosterone, and your estrogen. So protein rule, 1.5 grams per kilo of body weight. Fat, 0.7 grams per kilo of body weight. So for example, a 100 kilo person, let's say he was having 3,000 calories, 1.5 grams of protein, 800 calories of that 3,000 would come from protein. Okay? He would have 0.7 grams of fat per kilo of body weight, which means he would have 70 grams of fat. 70 times 9, 7 times 9, 9, 18, 27, 36, 54, 63. He would have 70 grams of fat. So 70 grams of fat is 900 calories. 150 grams of protein is 600 calories. That means 1,500 calories of my 3,000 has been made up from my my fat and protein intake, which means the remainder of those 1,500 calories, I could eat as many carbohydrates as I choose. So for example, when I am doing a diet, my protein intake is around 150 grams. My fat intake is around 70 grams. The remainder of my diet is carbohydrates. So what I would do is, because they're my base levels of protein or fat, I would slowly reduce my carbohydrates. So I might go from 300 grams of carbohydrates down to 250 for 2 weeks. That would start some weight loss. And then I might drop another 50 grams of carbohydrates, more weight loss. And every time I plateaued, I would reduce my carbohydrates. Now, if I got to a point where I couldn't reduce my carbohydrates anymore and I wasn't eating enough food, what you can do is work out more. So you can complete more than 1 home workout a day. You could do 2, you could do 3. You can get your steps up, just move your non-exercise activity thermogenesis. Basically just means as much movement as possible. So hit your baseline of protein, 1.5 grams per kilo. Your baseline of fat, 0.7 grams per kilo body weight, which will give you a number of calories. The remainder of your calories should be made up of carbohydrates. Now you can eat more protein, you can eat more fat. They are just the baselines. My recommendation, based off all the research I've done, to prevent muscle, to build muscle, and to regulate your hormones. Carbohydrates you can reduce as you go. Okay, now I have a question. Courtney Victoria, how do you work out your calories? I have mine from a macro calorie. Just want to see how you work them out. Okay, more math. Okay, so Courtney, if I'm 100 kilos, I would times 100 kilos by 28, 29, 30, 31, or 32. So I'm 100 kilos and I have a very low muscle mass and I'm very inactive. I would use 28. So I'll go 100 kilos times 28, which would equal 2,800 calories, which is my total daily energy expenditure. And what that means, that is my basal metabolic rate. That means how many calories I burn if I do nothing. So if I was to eat less than 2,800 calories, based off that recommendation, you should start to see some weight loss. However, if I'm semi-active and I have some muscle, I might times that number by 30. However, if I'm really active and I have a large amount of muscle, I would times my weight, 100, by 32. I'm not saying I'm really muscular and active, but I'm just pretty active. So I would times 100 times 32. So my total daily energy expenditure would be 3,200 calories. So your weight times 28 between 32, that will give you a rough estimate. The ones online, that's actually what they use anyway, that math. However, to really find out what your daily energy expenditure is, you just need to experiment. Okay, so for example, if you were to eat, Courtney, 1,800 calories and you were to do 3 home workouts and you were to average a certain amount of steps per day, let's say 5,000. If you do that for 7 days and you eat 1,800 calories and you lose weight, that means you can eat more food because you're not at your maintenance period yet. However, if you gained weight, then you need to reduce that. If that makes sense. I'll repeat that again. So if you were to say eat 1,800 calories consistently, if you were to do 3 home workouts, you were to do 5,000 steps every day, which would be your, your average exercise. At the end of the week, if you didn't lose weight, that would be your maintenance. So from there, you can make an adjustment. So if you want to put on weight, you eat more than 1,800. If you wanted to lose weight, you eat less than 1,800. So that's how you work out your own total daily energy expenditure, or TDEE. It varies. So I'm bang on 3,000, right? I know Mitch is about 3,500-ish. He does more cardio than me. I know Ryan's a little bit less than that. I know Brody's about 1,800. So it just takes some time. It takes some time to work out what your average energy expenditure is, and you can make adjustments from that. Okay, but me just saying that is we just can't do it overnight. Like, you just can't pick a number like 1,200 calories, X amount of protein, carbs, and fats, and expect to get a result. Because you might get a result week 1 or week 2 or week 3, but if you start at 1,200 calories, everything starts to slow down and you've got nowhere to go. So you're better off spending a week or 2 weeks or even 3 weeks finding out what your average expenditure is, work that out, be consistent, stay there, okay, and then start to reduce from there. So I would recommend definitely tracking your calories and definitely tracking your macronutrients, because energy balance, which is calories in versus calories out, is the number one thing that would dictate weight loss or weight gain. And the reason why I track my macros is to ensure that I'm at least hitting my minimum requirement of protein and my minimum requirement fat. So I'll say that again. So calories is the most important thing for weight loss or weight gain. If you eat more calories than you burn, you will put on weight. If you burn more calories than you eat, you will lose weight. Period. Point blank. There's no special diet, intermittent fasting, ketogenic, vegan, vegetarian, paleo, any diet you've ever heard of. It does not override the first law of dieting, which is calories in versus calories out. Now, if you know your calories in, calories out, most important part is that if you are losing weight, that you maintain as much muscle as possible. So the second law of nutrition would be to track your protein intake and your fat intake. So 1.5 grams per kilo, 0.7 grams of fat. Now, I know this is pretty complicated, lots of numbers going out there, but if you have any questions, just send me a message. I had some more questions throughout the day. Question number one was, how much protein should I have a day? So once again, changes for everyone. The fact that you can go online and just Google how much protein should I take, and it gives you a base reading of, everyone should have 100 grams, that is ridiculous. There is no reason why someone who weighs 30 kilos less than me, that has less muscle than me, that lifts weights less than me, that moves less than me, should have the same protein requirement. The reason why we give guidelines around protein, fat, and water intake, because everyone's different and everyone needs a different amount. So 1.5 grams per kilo of body weight should be your protein goal. Okay. Question number two was, is protein powder good? Protein powder is fantastic if it helps you reach your protein goal. So it is not essential. It will not make you build lots of muscle. It will not ruin your kidneys. It is just very, very helpful to hit your protein goal. So for example, Diana wants to hit 100 grams of protein. Diana struggles to eat meat throughout the day. She struggles to get eggs and tuna and cottage cheese and macadamias and all those protein fat foods in. If Diana wakes up and has a smoothie with 1 scoop of whey protein powder, already she's got 30 grams of protein out of her 100. So it's really, really helpful to hit your daily protein intake goal. So protein powder is fantastic. Question number two was, sorry, I've lost it here. Question number two was, one second, let me just find it. It's on Facebook. Should I have more carbohydrates or more fat? The question is, once you hit your fat goal of 0.7 grams of fat, then you can manipulate your carbohydrates. Okay, so to live life on Earth, your body needs protein to preserve muscle, and your body needs a certain amount of dietary fat to regulate its hormones. The one macronutrient, I'm not saying it's bad because it's fantastic, but the one macronutrient that you can manipulate would be carbohydrates. So I mentioned it before, but I'll go over it again. If I'm having 300 grams of carbohydrates, that would be 1,200 calories. So if I'm eating 3,000 calories and my end goal of dieting would be 1,800 calories, so I'm dieting myself down, I would start to remove carbohydrates. So for example, I'd go from 300 carbs to 250, to 200, to 250, to 150, to 100, to 50, and eventually I'd be very, very low at 0. I've minused all those carbohydrates. I'm still hitting my protein and fat intake. So for the most part, I should be fairly healthy during this diet. And that is the best way to reduce your calories and why you should track your macros. Okay, question number 3 was, I have bulk nutrients, whey protein, is that fine? Bulk nutrients is great. If I was to recommend one protein, it would actually be bulk nutrients. It is by far the cheapest you can get. So bulknutrients.com.au, they sell whey protein concentrate, isolate or hydrolyzed. If you have any digestion issues, I'd probably go for the isolate, which is about $33 per kilo. If you digest dairy fine, I would choose the cheapest option, which is concentrate, which is $27 per kilo. The good thing about bulk nutrients too is most companies, when you buy protein, you got to buy 5 kilos, one flavor. So that flavor can get a bit tiresome by the end. With bulk nutrients, you can order as many kilos as you want. So for example, you can order 4 kilos and you can get 4 different flavors. So for me, I get chocolate just for when I'm mixing it with water. I'll get vanilla so I can mix it with smoothies. Banana's also good with smoothies, and honeycomb. I make this really good smoothie. It's honeycomb protein powder, it's peanut butter, and a banana. So bulk nutrients is fantastic. Okay, I'm gonna stay on for 1 more minute, guys. Does anyone have any questions about that? All right, I'll recap one more time. So protein, 1.5 grams per kilo of body weight. Fat, 0.7 grams of fat per kilo of body weight. That will equal a certain number of calories. Let's say it's 1,200. If you're eating 1,800, the remainder of your calories should be made up from carbohydrates. Once again, everyone's different. These are just the basic guidelines I give to all of our clients and every single person that's worked with me with nutrition. Remember, 1 gram of carbohydrate is 4 calories, 1 gram of fat is 9 calories, and 1 gram of protein is 4 calories. So the reason why I do like tracking is there's no guesswork, because someone will come to me, Jamie, I had a client recently, Nikki, I've tried everything. I've tried everything and I just can't lose weight. Like I've tried everything. And the fact of the reality is Nikki had tried nothing. Like she hadn't tracked her food for 1 day. And when I ask people to track, it's like, oh, I don't want to do that. It's boring, it's annoying, it's pedantic, it's obsessive. Once you track for a couple of weeks, you don't need to track anymore because you just know what's in your food. I eat about 15 to 20 different foods, so I know what calories in the foods that I eat. So just track the foods that you enjoy at the start, learn what they are, and then you can put different foods into your meal plan and you know what you're doing. And once again, if you are tracking every day and you are moving consistently and working out consistently, if you're not losing weight, then if you come to me, Mitch, Ryan, Brody, or Steve, we can help you. We can make an adjustment. It might be that you need to do an extra home workout. It might need to be that you need to do an extra couple of thousand steps per day. It might need to be that you're eating too many carbohydrates, so you might reduce that. You might be eating too much protein. You might be weighing your food wrong. You might be doing like uncooked rice as opposed to cooked rice. So my advice to you, anyone watching here, should try and track your calories and macros for a week. I think you'll be surprised by what you actually eat, okay? And then if you need help from there, send me a message or send Mitch a message, Ryan, Brody, or Steve. We are happy to help. All right, guys, I've been on for 25 minutes. I hope I helped. I know it's a very, 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 very loaded question. It's not easy to understand. I tried to make it as simple as possible. Once again, any questions, let me know. Thanks. Have a great night.